I said last time, as I was speaking about prophecy, that we are approaching the end time. Now, as we look at the prophecies in the last century, beginning of the 20th century, end of the 19th century, there was a great discussion going on between theologians. And they said quite simply, prophecy cannot be regarded as being literally true. In other words, although we get these prophecies, we can't regard them as being something which has to happen. Perhaps it is just some sort of picture that God wants to give us, something that we can think about and pray about. We know it can't be right, because the prophecies tell us simply that before the end, Israel will be living in that country that God promised to Abraham that he would give him. And we know that the Jewish people are scattered throughout the world. They've been scattered ever since Titus destroyed Jerusalem and they were driven out. So it can't be true. They can't come back to that place and live in that place. Well, I'm afraid those deliberations and those books which are written proving that God's prophecies could not be taken literally have all been debunked. Because we all know what happened in the 1940s, when first of all the Jews came under terrible persecution with the Third Reich, and after the Second World War were granted a place once again in that land of Israel. And in May 1948, a new state came into being, the state of Israel. See, God's prophecies are fulfilled. They are literally fulfilled. Let's go back again to Jesus. When Jesus was riding the donkey down from the Mount of Olives into Jerusalem, on that occasion when he was being declared as king, he weeps over Jerusalem and he says to them, if only you had known the time, and you should have known the time, because you've examined the scriptures every day. You study them, you analyze them, you take them apart, you examine the scriptures every day. You should have known when the Messiah was coming, and you should have recognized me when I came. But now it's going to be hid from your eyes, and you have to suffer the consequences of it. Similarly, in his own day, he was going to say to his own people, as it was in the time of Noah, so it'll be when I come back. They'll be given in marriage, they will be living their lives, they will be doing all the things they normally do. And then at a moment, I will come back and I will fetch my people out of this world and I will snatch them away before that last 7 years takes place. Jesus is declaring that the prophecies will be fulfilled. We can actually tell, when he rode that donkey down in Jerusalem because of the prophecies of Daniel. We can work it out. We know the exact day. By the way, it wasn't a Sunday. We always keep it as Palm Sunday. It was, in fact, the Saturday before, the Sabbath. And he rode that donkey down on April the 6th, AD 32. He rode it down, and he says to his people, you should have known. Well, he is saying the same thing to our generation as well. He says, you've got all the signs. You should be aware of it. You should know about it. The time is coming to an end. The time that has been foretold from the very beginning of time. The time of the last great battle between God and the forces of evil. But before that time, before that last 7 years takes place, he said, I'm going to come back. For 2,000 years you've been praying, save us from the time of trial, deliver us from the evil one. You've been praying it in the Lord's Prayer over and over and over again. Well, I'm going to come back at a moment you don't expect, and I am going to snatch my people out of this world before that last 7 years takes place. The question is, are you ready for it? If it was to happen tonight or tomorrow or next week, are you ready for it? Look around your lives. What is important to you? Have you prepared for it? Are you now prepared that if he was to come now, you'd say, I'm ready to go because I've been waiting for it. I've seen the signs. I know what is coming, and I'm ready to leave with you, Lord, before that last great 7 years of tribulation take place. Amen.